Introducing Zentrix AI-powered trading signals service. Tired of second-guessing your trades? Zentrix AI scans the markets 24/7 with powerful, proven indicators built to give you clarity. You get 200+ signals every day on 15-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily charts. We cover Forex, crypto, commodities, indices, and stocks, so you're covered no matter what you trade. And the best part, you get all this delivered 3 ways, every day. Web alerts give you fast, clean access right from your dashboard. Telegram delivers real-time entries, confidence levels, sentiment, and trade duration. And email gives you the full breakdown, including 2 profit target levels and deep market analysis. Just hold $5 worth of ZTR. See what you can achieve with powerful AI trading intelligence by Zentrix. Try it now. And join our Telegram channel.
Okay, what's up people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well as always. If you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course make sure you do share it with your friends and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. What is up, Tashi? Good morning, hope you're doing good. Dima, as always, good morning, hope you are well. So as always guys, we'll go through, what's up Dino, welcome to the stream, good morning. So as always, we'll go through the USD side of things first, take a look at the DXY, USD majors, gold and silver. If you do have any requests, any pairs you want me to take a look at, please be sure to put it in the chat and I'll take a look. And of course, any particular time frames, let me know and I'll have a look as well. We'll have a quick look at our perps trading platform as well, just in case you guys haven't seen it. Showcase that quickly, then we'll get into some more analysis shortly afterwards. But first, we'll take a look at the USD pairs, which have been quite interesting, and I'm being very careful with the USD pairs at this moment in time, and you'll see why. But we'll start things off with the DXY, then progress to the USD majors, gold and silver. So I've been pretty bullish on the DXY, looking for buying opportunities, looking for strength in the dollar. I haven't really seen that. We were hinting that with the breakout kind of yesterday more so yesterday slash Tuesday. Looking for continuation, looking for price to really break out of this descending channel, really get going. So that was the plan for the dollar, or at least my plan anyway. As price approached a very nice area of demand, we tested that a few occasions, started to see some momentum, started to get a breakout. So the plan was looking for us to kind of build up that momentum and start to see some real upside, but we haven't really seen that. We've seen a little bit of upside, but more so it is quite corrective. We are coming to an area of supply to our left here, and I do wonder, is price just having a bit of a corrective pullback to perhaps continue lower? Yes, we've broken out of the descending channel, but again, it's not always that a breakout of a descending channel or ascending channel always results in a big push to the upside. Sometimes the breakouts can be quite tiresome and price potentially does continue in the original direction anyway. It's only when we get that momentum that really picks up do we really see those big breakouts and see those big swings. So because of that, I'm getting some real red flags here with USD strength, and I'm being very, very careful. I have closed my euro trade, which we'll get into in a moment. But momentum is a key concept when I did take the trade, because especially when you're taking trades on a breakout, say a breakout of a channel, or even a breakout of a level, a key component of that trade is momentum. The only reason why you're taking the trade is because price is breaking a certain characteristic, trend line, support resistance, moving average, etc. And it's doing it with momentum. So if the market's going to start to slow down afterwards, that's a real big sign that maybe the breakout you took is probably not going to play out. Again, nothing's 100%, but more leaning towards probably not going to play out. And in dollars, in the USD's case, since the overall trend is still down as well, I have to be kind of extra picky with these long ideas, because if the trend is going to continue, I don't really have that higher time frame backing to support my trade. If anything, the market is more likely to go against me. So we had that breakout on Tuesday, but I haven't really seen conviction. I'm looking at this area to our left, nice area of supply we're tapping into now. That looks like a double top to me, and potentially we could sell off pretty aggressively. Of course, this current candle is looking pretty bearish right now. It still does have 1 hour and 48 minutes left before it does close, but if it does close something like that, perhaps we are getting ready for a bit of a sell-off, bit of a counter trend line there. I do wonder if we do break through that, do we see another drop there for USD? I wouldn't be surprised, at least back to support anyway. So dollar's not looking too good. Again, I have been bullish, but I'm relaxing on that bias right now. I think intraday, especially a break of that counter trend line, I actually do fancy another sell back to 97.7. So at least kind of an intraday, or maybe for the rest of the week, we might be seeing a bit of a bearish swing there for the dollar. As for Euro USD, I was in some shorts yesterday, but things weren't going to plan. I took it on the 8-hour chart. So the entry was over here. Stops above the high over there, and initially targets at the low here. But if things went well, I would hopefully have held all the way to the low there as well. So that was the plan there for the USD trade, Euro USD trade. And of course, similar to the dollar, we had the break of this ascending channel, which was a key component for me to actually enter the trade, because price has been very ascending, very corrective, which I did like because it shows that price is slowing down, finding it difficult to continue to trend higher. Of course, we did tap into a very nice level of supply, and the overall plan was to see if we can catch another lower high, another drop lower. So that's been the plan for Euro, and when we did get this breakout, we got a nice little retest there, nice kind of confirmation coming lower. So that was the entry, stops above the high there, and hopefully looking for momentum to pick up and a push to this level, so on and so forth. But after I entered it, a couple candles later, again, this is the 8-hour chart, so a couple candles is actually 16 hours, so quite some time later. But we did start to pick up momentum against me, which was not really what I wanted to see, and especially taking into account what the dollar was doing, the DXY was doing, it wasn't looking good in terms of momentum. So I decided to close the trade after this candle here for roughly like a 0.3 R loss out of the whole trade. So I closed the trade early because momentum wasn't there, and this looked quite corrective to me. This kind of looks like another descending channel, a corrective channel for perhaps maybe a continuation higher. Yeah, this could be a bit of a double bottom here for price to push up higher. So I wasn't really liking the momentum. I did say to myself, if things do start to pick up again, I don't mind entering a little bit later, but I'd rather get out, especially with the DXY not looking brilliant, and then re-enter later on. And that's kind of where I'm at with Euro USD. So I was pretty bearish. I did exit the trade there. I think I managed it well. But yeah, this is looking really corrective to me. So the way I'm looking at Euro right now is you've got kind of an area of demand there to our left, really corrective structure. I wonder if we're getting ready for something like this, for another swing to the upside, which again is not necessarily anything crazy. The market still may have this sell-off, but it might want to rally first before that happens, reject the level again before we do downturn. It's just maybe my timing of the entry was a little bit off, so I have pulled the plug on that position. Relatively small loss, so nothing major, but the momentum that I was expecting just didn't happen. And of course, taking into consideration what the dollar was doing, that was more than enough sign for me to say, okay, maybe let's pull the trade here and potentially get back in if momentum does pick up later on. So that's kind of the take I've got on Euro. Maybe a push to the upside first before we push down. Also, pound USD hasn't been brilliant. Sure, it's seen a bit of downside, but again, this is really corrective. And again, this looks like price potentially could be getting ready for a push up higher. This could be forming somewhat of a inverse head and shoulder pattern, left head, right shoulder potentially. Of course, that would be your neckline for the pattern. If this is going to be a right shoulder, you expect to push higher, perhaps a pullback, a retest, and that could be a trade that takes us back to the highs there as well. So I'm not convinced with pound USD, which is why I've kind of been standing off pound USD, not really looking to trade it. Yes, we did reject the high here very well. Let's drop back to the 4-hour chart. Yes, we did reject the high here very well, but we've been really impulsive on the way up. So even the bullish move hasn't really shown pullback characteristics, has been quite impulsive. And this bearish leg has been really corrective. So it's not like we've smacked into resistance and rejected it very aggressively. It's a very slow descending move here. So if we do find support, I do think that higher low could form, possibly that right shoulder could form. We are testing a nice area of consolidation here, which could act as an area of demand and perhaps see a push to the upside. Again, similar to Euro, similar to the DXY, perhaps a nice break of that counter trend line, and we're off, and possibly a push back to resistance will be the next target for maybe the remainder of the week here. So pound, yes, it's been on the down. It's been trending down, but I'm not convinced. And if we see a strong break to the upside, I do think we're going to push back to highs. As for dollar CAD, this is still stuck at resistance, I believe. So not much for an opportunity here in terms of the buys, at least. If anything, there could be some nice shorts here. I mean, prices had a few wicks now to the upside, really struggling to break free. Perhaps another strong close there. That could be a nice entry signal with some stops above the high. I wouldn't be too greedy with dollar CAD. There is some areas below us where maybe buyers could be looking to jump back into the market and perhaps take price higher. But of course, look to the left, really aggressive reaction. If you can see price start to build up, I do think that's a nice place for a short, at least to come back and test that area. And then we'll go from there. And if you're looking to buy, I still think this is a nice place for a buy as well. I would suggest wait to see how we get there, because of course, if we drop aggressively, that will change my opinion on that buy opportunity. But if it's like a slow corrective move down, then yeah, I do think it's an area which could give us a bounce, a nice area of consolidation, strong break to the upside. Yeah, that's a textbook area of demand there. So should the correction, the move down, be really corrective and mimic a pullback, yes, I think that's a smart place for a buy if you are bullish. But at the moment, really struggling at resistance. If anything, shorts looks like the best option here. Aussie dollar has been pretty bearish. Of course, I think that's mainly due to Aussie being really weak. So not necessarily seeing the strength on the dollar side of things. It's more so AU being weak. We had the break of support this week, and we haven't really looked back since. And price has been smashing to the downside. We're testing some lows here. I still do think Aussie can drop further. We've been in this ascending channel for quite some time. It's a pretty convincing breakout, I must say, of this ascending channel. Really strong breakout, nice retest. So in my book, I do think we can go lower, but we're just lacking that USD conviction to really push lower. So it's going to really rely on Aussie being weak, which could be the case, the situation. I mean, it has been the situation so far. But yeah, if dollar's going to be weak, it's going to be difficult to break through support here. But again, similar to dollar CAD, we are testing support. By default, this is a nice place for a buy opportunity. We are looking quite corrective as well. If I drop to the hourly chart, it looks like, yeah, really corrective. So it looks like we're starting to find support here. And the bearish momentum we have seen looks to be starting to disappear. Support looks to be holding. Perhaps we can see a bit of a push to the upside for the dollar, for Aussie dollar, sorry, not for dollar. So yeah, I don't mind the buys here for AU. Like I said, I am bearish on the pair, but not blind to see that this is definitely a level which could give us a push higher. It might be a push higher for us to eventually go lower. It could be a double bottom for us to completely reverse. Only time will tell. But in terms of a location for an entry and a stop loss, it does look pretty good there, especially with the way we got there as well. Really corrective. So if you can see some strength there to the upside, I think that could be a nice entry. New Zealand dollar's been really bearish as well. Of course, big sell-off we had this week. Of course, NZD News playing a big role in that. As for the next play, well, as I mentioned yesterday, there are some areas of support to our left where, you know, price could very much find support and look to turn back around again. If things are going to be very bearish, there is support down here. I would suggest if we can break through this level cleanly, then yeah, we could be seeing a lot more downside for New Zealand dollar, perhaps even back down to 0.55. But this is still going to be a steady level of support. Price is quite overextended at the moment. You know, looking at these dips here, 1, 2, I would argue that we're probably in the vicinity of a third, roughly. And similar to Aussie dollar, I probably would be expecting at least a bit of a relief for this one. Again, in terms of the longer term move, maybe we still do continue these lower highs, you know, come back to resistance, supply, and perhaps this could be a nice place for a short. But at the moment, I wouldn't be looking to short the market. We're coming into major support. Market's quite stretched. Kind of got this counter trend line coming into play as well. And it looks like we're slowing down. I probably wouldn't buy just yet, because I think it's way too early, but I like how corrective we are. If that was to continue, maybe double bottom, that could end up being a nice buy opportunity. So yeah, New Zealand dollar in terms of my kind of more, not necessarily intraday bias, but maybe bias for the next 2 or 3 days. I do think a pullback is on the cards, especially from around 0.58. And if you take a look at gold, so gold a bit bullish yesterday, but altogether still kind of within this descending channel here. Again, not reading too much into that because we're just in the middle of a range. I know I sound like a broken record, but that is the case here with gold. Until we get a breakout or test the upper limits or the lower limits of the range, there's not much to say, at least on the 4-hour chart. I understand in the low time frames there's a bit of activity going on, but on the 4-hour time frame, which is where my focus mainly is, it has been quite chaotic and yeah, not really testing any area of significance. Therefore, I've been standing off gold and looking to trade it. But yeah, if we do manage to get to one of these two levels sooner or later, then yeah, I do think there could be some opportunities, whether we're looking for the breakout or looking for the retest of one of these levels. But at the moment, not too sure what gold is actually doing, to be honest. Maybe it's come back to test an area of demand there. Maybe we do get ready for a bit of a push up higher. I think I probably would wait for a strong breakout, something like this to signify that. Then maybe there could be some intraday pullbacks on the way back to some resistance here, potentially. But again, that's a lot of speculation there. I would wait for gold to pick a direction. As for now, might even see a bit of downside, but again, it's just really choppy conditions in the middle of a range. Not the best place for entries and stop losses. And in terms of silver, again, for this one, I was in a short position, but I did exit the trade. Momentum did not do what I wanted it to do. I entered on this candle here. Stop losses above the high there. I did exit pretty quickly, actually. I exited on this candle here, pretty much the same time as the Euro USD trade. But again, a big part of this trade was momentum. And momentum didn't continue. Well, it did continue initially, but after this candle here was not a good sign. So I did pull the plug on that trade, roughly like a minus 0.25R on that one, so pretty minimal as well. But again, the trade idea hasn't completely failed. Your price could still come back, retest this area, and still continue south. So it's a situation where I'm still actively looking for re-entries. But again, I need to see that conviction come back into the market because it was a really aggressive bullish move there. So if we are going to sell off, let's start to see some convincing price action back down again. And I wouldn't mind re-entering on that, looking for the same move, back into this low, back into that low, back into this low. And then if everything goes well, even a push to the high here could be a possibility. So I can see silver potentially still continuing down. I'm still looking at this as a lower high, somewhat of a head and shoulder pattern, left head, right shoulder. That's kind of your neckline there. So if momentum is going to pick up again, want to see some strength come in for the bears, and that would be my re-entry. But I wasn't a fan of this candle, especially when I am going counter trend. I try to be a bit more aggressive with my management. If I was pro trend, then I'll probably give myself a bit more room. But yeah, silver still something I'm interested in as long as we can hold this area. If price does break through that, I'll completely walk away from that short idea. This will then just be a big fake out to me. And then, yeah, maybe we do break to the upside after that. So it is pivotal that we do respect this area. And if we do, I think shorts are looking good. And then targets 36.2, 35.6, 34.9. So yeah, that is a good summary of where I'm at with the USD. Looking for that strength, but not seeing the signs I want to see, especially looking at the dollar, which of course is the main attraction here. Really corrective breakout, so that's a big red flag. Looks like we're respecting some area of supply with a double top there. Seems some conviction in this bearish candle, provided it hasn't closed yet. But with this corrective nature on the way up, if it does break the counter trend line, that to me is a bearish signal for another move down. So although being pretty bullish, I'm going to have to back away from those long opportunities, at least for now, and then reanalyze and go from there. Anyway, let me say hello to a few people. What's up, Anag Kazo? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Longest time, thanks for showing up all the time, as always, thank you for tuning into the stream as well. I do really appreciate it. Temo, hello from Turkey. Nice. Wicked. Whereabouts in Turkey are you at? But welcome to the stream. What's up, Bashi? Appreciate it, my man. Hope you are doing good. As always, guys, like and subscribe if you are finding the streams useful, educational, informative, entertaining, anything remotely positive. Show some love, drop a like, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. But really appreciate that, Bashi. Thank you. Coffee Spinner, as always, good morning. Hope you're well. What's the time over there? It's 10:26 a.m. here. Cease Integrated, what is up, my man? Hope you're doing good. Now DXY seems neutral. I agree. Very corrective on the way up here. A break of that counter trend line would actually make me pretty bearish on the DXY, but the lack of conviction on the way up is screaming alarm bells to me, especially with the buys. So yeah, if we stay corrective, especially a break of that, a strong close, I think maybe for the rest of today and probably tomorrow as well, at least until we get back here, I do think we can see a bit of a drop for USD. Coffee Spinner, no, I did not manage to get into pound NZD. It was a very quick break and retest. It wasn't actually enough to actually test the level which I wanted it, so it was unfortunate I missed out on that. But yeah, I did actually really like pound NZD. It's a very similar trade to the pound Aussie trade. I'm pretty bullish on both of them at the moment. That was a nice breakout in pound NZD, and of course the NZD news really kicked everything off. But yeah, unfortunately did miss out on that one. Cease Integrated, if DXY sideways or one more leg down, I will enter shorts for other. Okay. Possible pullback retest of 98 again. Yeah, I mean, I think we could probably go further than 98 at this point. Maybe 97.6 into the lows here. I mean, if we break the counter trend line, that's kind of what my expectation will be. Wouldn't be surprised if we see new lows past this point as well. I'm not liking the momentum. Is really corrective, and looks like dollar's really struggling. And if that's the case, we're probably going to have a bit of a sell-off. And let's not forget higher time frames. Higher time frames are still bearish, so the market does have that natural tendency to push lower unless we see price really start to reverse, which is what I was looking for. We haven't really seen that happen yet. My view on GJ, silver, and oil. Okay, we'll take a look at those as well. I appreciate it. Thank you. Kindly smash the like button. Really appreciate that. Danny, good morning. Hope you're well. Just got here. Welcome to the stream. Plenty of time to hang around. Good morning, Yusuf. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Don't forget to like the stream. Appreciate it. Cease Integrated. Drop a like if you're enjoying, guys. Poppy, what is up? Welcome. Okay, a bunch of pairs to go through. So quickly, let me share with you the perps platform we've been working on, and then I'll go through the pairs we've been you guys have mentioned in the chat to analyze. But if you haven't checked it out, make sure you go do so. This is the perps platform we've been working on for the past few months now. Something that I'm really excited about because, again, a lot of my background is trading CFDs, trading Forex, commodities, and this is kind of a new element or newer element to myself, trading perps. And I do think this is where the future of markets could be headed towards. Pretty much all markets, really, FX included. So it's definitely something to get to grips with, test out. This is the platform we've been working on. Again, similar to pretty much all trading platforms, you can buy, sell, set orders, stop orders, limit orders, take profit, stop loss, all of the above, manage positions actively. And it's very, very similar to trading CFDs. You can buy and sell markets, similar to how you trade CFDs, speculating price. It's very similar to futures, except the contracts don't expire. So when you do buy contracts, sell contracts, you don't have to set an expiry date. You can hold for pretty much as long as you want, as long as you don't get liquidated, of course, similar to when you are trading CFDs. At the moment, the platform only does allow for trading cryptocurrencies. But again, as mentioned, FX will be coming, commodities will be coming. And the ease of the platform is really the main attraction here, just connecting your Solana or your Ethereum wallet to the platform. Again, you can connect via email as well. So if you don't have a wallet, no need to worry, you can connect via email as well. And you can test the platform out. It's got a demo server and a live server. So if you just want to test out and get a feel for the platform and trading cryptocurrencies here, you can definitely do that as well before going live. So if you haven't checked it out, guys, I do highly recommend to do so. The link to the platform is in the description below. And I do have videos on the channel as well about how to use it as well. So if you want a bit more detail, a bit more information on how to use it and all components of the platform, do check out those videos. It's on the channel as well. Okay, so let's start with we'll start with pound entity. Lovely breakout on that pair, and then we'll take a look at GJ and oil. We just did silver, so I will skip silver analysis. Again, if you scroll back maybe about 10 minutes, you'll see the analysis to it. So we go pound, yen, oil. Yusuf, GJ, sure thing. We'll take a look as well. Poppy, your advice on USD NOK was helpful. I took the break even just in time. Yeah, the rejection just wasn't really wasn't looking good on USD NOK. Again, you know, you can have targets because when you do take a trade, you have an initial target or whatever target. You have an expectation of where you expect the trade to go, unless you use kind of trading stop loss completely. But you would have a target, an expectation of where you think the trade will get to. And depending on how things are going with the trade, it might look like price is going to hit your targets, or it might look like price is probably not going to hit your targets. And you can either do one or two things. You can either just let the trade do its thing and just, you know, be very, very kind of laid back in terms of the management and just like, okay, it's either it's going to hit my target or it's not. Or you can be quite active, and if things are not looking good, you know, you can pull the trade early, take the profits you have, nothing wrong with that. And be a bit proactive. I do prefer the latter, especially when you're getting some heavy selling pressure like we had yesterday with that strong bearish engulfing candle on the 4-hour chart. Again, nothing's 100%. There will be times where you do get out trades a bit too early and price does later go and hit your take profit. Yeah, that will happen. So yeah, that will be a negative side of things. But yeah, it was a strong bearish engulfing candle, especially coming close to your entry. I would say just exit the trade and re-enter when things look good again, if things look good again. But yeah, in terms of pound NZD, I was looking for a slightly deeper retest before looking to take any buys here. So this is the range we've been in for the past, how many months here? Well, kind of going back to March, really. So it's been a pretty long-term range prices in. We've been looking for a breakout. Prices finally broken out, chose to the upside. It has really tested resistance up here. So we've kind of met that goal. But the plan this week was looking for a quick break and retest at this area. I was mainly focused on this 4-hour region where this kind of area of demand overlapped the resistance level we just mentioned on the daily chart. So I was looking for a retest here for a buy. It was a very slow move down, so I quite like what I saw. We had a very aggressive close, and then of course the news kicked in, so that's what really got the trade underway. So I kind of just missed my area of interest really for pound NZD, which is why I didn't take the trade. And I wasn't prepared to force anything as well, because being with pound Aussies, it's a similar trade, so I wasn't prepared to kind of force anything. If price did test this area well, I would have been very happy to jump into the position, but wasn't quite there, so I did stay away. But yeah, really nice move, and of course the New Zealand news really helped this one play out. But yeah, very strong move. We're back in resistance now, so I'm a bit more neutral, just kind of keeping an eye to see how price reacts with resistance. But it was a very nice move, I must admit. Okay, so pound yen. Pound yen's an interesting one. Very bearish since we last spoke. I believe we were trading around here somewhere. And I talked about this range. I said if price can break the low of the range there, perhaps we can see a lot more downside. Equally so, if price can break the high of the range, perhaps we do get the big breakout of resistance here on the daily chart, as price has been really stuck with this level. We got the break to the downside, but we're seeing momentum straight back up, which is not a good sign for the bears, I must say. If price is having a legit breakout, you want to see conviction, and either you want to see price continue to sell or retest and continue straight away. Of course, this candle's still live and it could just form a wick and perhaps start to turn bearish later on, or maybe following candles after. So I wouldn't say the breakout has been invalidated completely, but should we close back inside that, this looks to me sort of a breakout, sort of a fake out. And on an intraday level, I would suggest looking for something like this: impulse, correction, another impulse. And I think that could be a very nice trade to take, perhaps back to these highs, maybe even the top end of the range as well. And especially how we're moving as well, because this was a really nice bearish move. It was quite aggressive, broke through support really well. It did start off quite nicely in terms of how corrective it's been, but now we suddenly picked up momentum here. So I wouldn't really want to be looking to short this, to be honest, unless we see a wicked rejection out of nowhere. Unless this forms a massive wick and a strong push down, then yeah, maybe the selling pressure's back in. But I have to say, momentum's picked up really aggressively here, and because it's manipulated such a big low, I would suggest that this looks to be a bit of a fake out. And if we do continue higher, I would say some pullbacks intraday look really good. And then more upside would be the plan. Resistance there. As I mentioned, resistance there could be your target. So pound yen, I'm leaning towards the bullish side of things here, because this looks to be a bit of a fake out. And we'll go from there. Yeah, that is not looking too good in terms of the breakout. So if that is going to close back above, I think buys make the most sense, especially if you're intraday. I think Yusuf, you mentioned GJ there intraday, especially on the 15-minute time frame. I think I'd wait for a bit more upside first, wait for maybe at least an hourly time frame to close, and then I'll be looking for some pullbacks afterwards. The best opportunity would just be a retest of this area. Maybe we might find a new setup as we develop. Might not necessarily be the retest of this level, but I think that would be the best place for an entry, especially if you can get some stop losses underneath. But yeah, to me, GJ is not looking like it's giving us a legit breakout. That looks like we're probably seeing a false break of the lows, so perhaps more upside is on the way. Like I said, I would wait for candle closures to really back that up, but that is what I'm favoring. In terms of oil, so oil is just kind of slowly, oh no, it's picked up momentum. Okay, so yeah, I think at this point now, we're probably going to get a breakout to the upside, because we're not going to be corrective forever. Again, when markets price action like this, really tiresome, sooner or later, you're expecting price to break to the upside. Of course, in terms of how the market breaks higher, it could be a slight breakout and then we push back down, similar to what the DXY is doing. Or it could be a huge breakout, which does start a new trend potentially. Of course, my focus has been on the daily level around 64, 65. So that's really where my focus is still. Depending on our success, whether we break through the level or not, that will kind of dictate my bias for pretty much the upcoming week. If price does push into this level, finds it really hard to break through, I think shorts look really good. If we do find it, if we do break through this level well, and this turns to be a bit of a fake out, kind of similar to what pound yen just did, then yeah, pullbacks, a retest of this area, I think will be a smart buy, and a lot more upside is what I'll be expecting. So it really depends on how price reacts with that level, because this is a very significant level, and you can see when prices react with this level in the past, we've seen some really big moves. So if this is a legit breakout, which I'm not too sure if it is, there can be a lot more downside there for oil. At the moment, it looks like we're trying to break through this channel. Let's see what we can do around 64, 65. If it is going to be a sell, or if we are going to recover and get the buying opportunity on the pullback. So that's kind of really where I am from a swing bias. There might even be shorts at the high end of the channel, but I'm not really convinced. If I was maybe intraday, sure, maybe a quick smash and grab. But because of how tight the market is looking, I wouldn't be interested in the shorts right now. I kind of want to see what we do in terms of the buys. But yeah, that level is still my main focus. If it does turn into a fake out, there can be a lot of upside opportunity there for oil. So I would definitely keep an eye on that. Okay, where was we? So we did oil, pound, yen. Thoughts on GJ short current? Are you UC100 short GJ at current price? Yeah, I wouldn't short pound yen at current price. Number one, it's way too aggressive in terms of the bullish momentum at the moment. And number two, I'm not seeing any rejection, so anything to indicate shorting. I do understand that you probably are looking for that kind of break and retest opportunity, you know, a strong break of support, perhaps a retest to continue, or even a push back into supply on the left there. So yeah, I can see the logic in terms of looking to short, but yeah, we're getting no indication of selling pressure coming to the market at all. And the way I'm kind of looking at this is we had a strong impulse down, perhaps somewhat of a consolidation, and now price is picking up momentum. So this kind of looks like a reversal pattern to me, which again, normally means more upside. Impulse consolidation, impulse again. Somewhat of a V-shaped pattern, not the best example of one, I must say, but it looks to me that we've got the makings of that pattern, at least the characteristics of that pattern there. So yeah, I wouldn't be shorting at current price, no rejection, a lot of bullish momentum, and the pattern kind of resembles a bullish pattern at the moment. So yeah, I would be pretty bullish, or at least not looking to do anything at the moment. Bashi, longs played out. Yusuf, I got triggered on news at 8:30, so I closed in case it got slipped all the way. Which pair were you trading, Bashi? Coffee spinner, thoughts on Euro Aussie? Yep, we can take a look at that as well. Danny, what's up? If you don't mind, you can top down analysis. I've been struggling with it and would like to see how you do. Okay. Okay, sure thing. Okay, I'll do. Okay, US. I'll do top down on US 30 then. Again, you want to be careful how you use top down analysis, because the whole reason for top down analysis is just to see what the bigger picture is, and then whatever your kind of entry time frames and the time frames you look to manage trades. You want to get information from the higher time frames to see the bigger picture to help aid you with your analysis on the lower time frames. That's the whole purpose of top-down analysis. You don't need to go monthly, weekly, daily, 4-hour, hourly, 15, 5 minutes to go and take a trade. A lot of the time, you're probably going to confuse yourself along the way. So understand the objective, the purpose of using top-down analysis. It's simply just to understand the bigger picture of the market, maybe a few key areas on the higher time frames you need to watch out for. But the main kind of goal is just to understand kind of overall direction and maybe some areas where buying and selling could potentially happen. A lot of your analysis is going to occur on your kind of your entry time frames in and around those areas. So if you're looking at like a 50-minute chart, a lot of the analysis is going to be like maybe hourly, 15, maybe even 5-minute potentially. But in and around those time frames is where you're going to do your business. You might look at the daily to kind of get a general understanding of what the higher time frame is and where the longer term move might be. Maybe a few key areas to watch out for, and that's about it. You don't want to kind of overdo it in terms of the analysis, because then you're gonna potentially struggle and you get too much information. So be careful with that. But I will take a look at US 30 for you. Raheel, Euro Yen and Euro CAD, sure thing. We could take a look as well. Oh, is that Euro USD? Yeah. I mean, sometimes you can probably forget, but yeah, I think a good routine, especially if you're in the lower time frames, even before you take a look at the charts, just go through the news quickly. Again, there's plenty of sites you can go through. It can potentially even take you 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be anything more detailed than that. What's up, Natty? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are well. Euro USD 15, okay, yep. We'll take a look. Yusuf, Euro USD 15, okay. We'll go through Euro, Pound, USD on the 15. First, I'll go through Euro, Aussie, US 30 as well. Poppy, bought Pound CHF at the start of the current hourly candle, okay. Last time I checked, pound CHF was looking pretty bearish, but we can take a look. Okay, GJ longs, nice. Yeah, momentum's really picked up there. Thoughts on GJ is that it respects the trend line, then it could be a good sell because of supply and the demand zone that is there. Yeah, I agree from that perspective. We are coming to like an area of supply, and I can see the rough kind of trend line you mentioned with these lower highs there. So yeah, I can kind of see that, but the way price is retracing is not a good sign. Really, really aggressive. And of course, the fact that it's breaking above support is not a good sign either. If this was like all below this level, I think it would be a much better opportunity. But the fact that we had a strong move down, a little bit of kind of a corrective move, a strong move back up, I kind of do favor that. So unless we see a really strong rejection here, then yeah, I think the shorts could make sense, but it needs to be really strong to kind of cancel out this momentum really. Because this is pretty aggressive and it's not really showing the characteristics of a pullback. It did initially with this move here being really slow. It did initially, but all of a sudden, the past kind of hour or so, or 30 minutes even, that's kind of changed. that has changed. Basically with the past two 50-minute candles. So unless we see some really heavy selling pressure kick in, I'll be quite careful with the shorts. Anyway, let's go through Euro Aussie and the Dow Jones. So Euro Aussie, pretty bullish as well. I was actually keeping an eye on some longs in Euro Aussie at the start of this week too. This was the bonus pair on the weekly analysis. I didn't like the entry, and then we were looking really bullish, and we had the closure up here, and the rest was history, to be honest. But the reason why I like this one going into the week is because of this close here last week Friday, was it? Yeah, last week Friday. Really nice close there on the daily chart, breaking through resistance here. So my take was on Friday, we had a nice breakout. If this is going to be a breakout, if price is going to remain above resistance here, potentially could act as support, and that could take us back to the next level, which would be the high here. So that was all I was looking for Euro Aussie, just a simple breakout, retest, continuation. So I was keeping an eye to see how the 4-hour candles were closing here, but it didn't give me anything really concrete, to be honest. It was a nice retracement, then we saw this bullish reaction here, which left a really big wick to the upside, so that was a little bit of a red flag. Then candles were pretty sideways, then all of a sudden we had a big breakout, price was already clearing highs, and it kind of was a little bit gone for me. I kind of wanted to retest it in and around this area. But of course, it was a really nice move, to be honest. Of course, Aussie weakness this week really helping this pair out. Of course, seeing some new highs. In terms of what I'd be looking for now, I mean, we do have the highs all the way up here. That could be where Euro Aussie's working towards. It's a really corrective move, so I would be quite careful, especially buying at highs here. This is an area which we prone to pullbacks and downside. I still think this is a nice area for a buy. Let's say if the market can see some downsides come back and retest this level, I think that's still a nice place for a buy. You got a higher low there, higher low there. I think pretty logical to expect another one to form at that area, and perhaps some more upside as well. So going forward with Euro Aussie, I would still be pretty bullish, but because of where we are trading and the high we've just taken out, I would now back away and wait for some type of pullback to occur in the hopes that we come back and retest this level around 1.795. Really bullish move. I like the momentum. It's not the most powerful move, but there was conviction there. We've just seen some new highs. This is going to be an area prone to selling pressure kicking in, perhaps buyers taking profit after a significant high. I do think we can see a bit of a pullback at some point. So I'll be looking at something like this for Euro Aussie. I would still be bullish on the pair. There is the high there, potentially prices working towards, but I wouldn't be looking for any big move just yet. After all, this is still a really corrective move, so I'm not even completely sold that we do get up there. I can see a world where we kind of stall and sell off there. So I would only be looking at kind of shorter term moves, maybe for like a day or two. But yeah, for now, Euro Aussie still looking pretty bullish there. In terms of Dow Jones, I'll do the top-down analysis with this one. I mean, it's actually a pretty straightforward pair to do analysis with in terms of the higher time frames. But yeah, I'll do top-down analysis. But again, just to reiterate, the goal of top-down analysis is just to understand the bigger picture. You don't want to go into too much detail, monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour, all the way down to like the 5-minute chart. You probably will kind of confuse yourself along the way. You want to make trading simple but effective, and that's kind of taking bits of information appropriately, not everything. But in terms of top-down analysis, let's say if I want to trade in the 50-minute chart, let's say if my goal is the 50-minute chart. If my goal is the 50-minute chart, I'll probably look at the daily in terms of my overall kind of direction and where we're trading. The biggest takeaway I would take from the daily chart is that, yes, the market is in an overall uptrend. If I zoom out, I can see the overall directions to the upside, and the past kind of immediate trend is to the upside as well. So we are bullish from that degree, but there's a clear level of resistance price is respecting. I'm seeing a few wicks to the upside here as well. So yes, momentum might be up, but I'm going to be very, very watchful of that. And if anything, there could be a push to the downside of this level. So that's all the information I'm going to take from the daily chart. That we are seeing rejection. Perhaps we could be in for a bit of a move down, but I wouldn't look for like a significant move down because of the trend being up still. So I'd probably drop to 4 hour. Actually, I'd probably even drop to the hourly chart next. Hourly chart, what can I see? This is still kind of bullish territory here. Very, very flat right now. Would I be looking to try and take some buys here? If I'm looking for a very short-term scalp, potentially I can get away with some buys. Nice area of demand, a lot of rejection here. If I drop to the 15, let's say price was to rush to the lows here, I wouldn't mind a quick kind of smash and grab here and a nice buy, back into this kind of mess here. If I can find a nice entry here and the risk reward looks pretty good, I wouldn't mind a nice buy like that. Back into resistance, maybe a 1-to-1, maybe a 1-to-2, and that's you done. But of course, the biggest takeaway we took away from the higher time frames is that this is major resistance. So although yes, we're in the direction of trend, we're not going to look for like a crazy move here, because it doesn't really make much sense to do that, taking into account where we're trading. So yeah, from a top-down perspective, that's kind of what my take would be, is if I was going to trade in the 50-minute chart. Nice area of demand, still seeing a lot of rejection. If I could see another strong rejection at the low, I would bet that we can see a push back into resistance, and then I'll probably look to exit trades there. Maybe I leave a little bit to run just in case, but I would definitely take most of my profit at the high. So that's kind of how the process would go for top-down analysis if I was doing it, especially if I was looking like a 50-minute chart to trade. Because again, the daily chart is going to be made out of a bunch of 50-minute candles. If you're only going to try and take advantage of a few 50-minute candles, where the whole trend of the daily chart or what we're going to do in the daily isn't really too much of your concern, just the general picture of it. Too much analysis sometimes not the best way to go about it. Anyway, so we'll go take a look at euro on the 15 and pound on the 15 next. Where was I? Okay, the German PMI. So I don't really look too much into the German PMI. I know that the German news is kind of a big deal in proportion to euro, but I just focus on euro as a whole, really. Okay, we'll take a look at the pound CHF idea. Poppy is okay, shorted pound CHF yesterday. We will take a look as well. Should I show you the trade? Yeah, I mean, don't know how. Used to be able to share it on the chat, and I could bring it up on the screen. Excuse me. No problem, Danny. Happy to help. Analysis paralysis. Oh, couldn't get my words out there, but yeah, that's exactly it. Analysis paralysis. Too much of that. Sometimes if you're very kind of into the technicals, you can get lost in the source quite easily. And yeah, it's I mean, not enough analysis, too much analysis, both as bad as each other, I would say. Okay, so let's get into Euro USD on the 15. I'll take a look at pound as well. Excuse me, and we'll take a look at pound CHF as well. What social media? Instagram. You can just search my name, Miko Aldu FX. That's the one I look at the most. Pavinator, what's up, my man? Welcome to the stream. Happy Thursday. I hope you're well. Now down 10 Aussie dollar. He's hoping it goes further down. Yeah, I'm still pretty bearish on Aussie dollar. The funny thing is, Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar still, they got a bit more downside. I do think we are testing support where we could see some upside, so I would be quite cautious as to where you're trading right now. We can go take a look at it in a second. But the thing with Aussie dollar is that it's been falling due to Aussie being weak, not so much dollar being strong. And dollar has been a bit of a mixed bag at the moment. And if it does see some weakness, that probably does affect the trade a little bit. So I would be watchful at support because it is trading at support right now. I know you got your targets in 0.62, which again, price may go and hit. But like I said, you will kind of want to be actively managing that position, because there are a lot of obstacles where price does find support and does turn against you. So be careful of that. But we can take a look at it in a moment. So yeah, for Euro USD, I said for this one, respecting support, really corrective on the way down. Perhaps price is getting ready for another rally back into resistance. We are becoming quite choppy now, to be honest, as well. Almost to some degree, a bit of a consolidation. As for the 50-minute chart, let me just delete this. 50-minute chart, I can imagine we're looking a little bit choppy here. So 50-minute chart, we are respecting that zone pretty well. Nice test over there, another test over there. Did see a nice kind of sell-off. Did we quite get to that supply? Yeah, we did more or less get to that supply zone there. We spoke about this yesterday actually on stream. We had the lower highs come in, initially over there, another one, and then another one over there. But we are starting to form a bit of a double bottom here. Respect to the lows pretty aggressively, strong push to the upside. Would I keep looking to short here? No. What I can see from Euro is that this is our last significant low, which gave us this high. Yeah, this is our last kind of swing low for the new high. This is starting to look like some kind of complex pullback, really. And because we're respecting lows really well, I think at some point we might see Euro go and do something like that. So I do think there could be some upside there for Euro. Now, in terms of trading it, this is where it gets a bit difficult, because how am I going to find an entry for that? Well, the entry that makes the most sense would just be a push back into the low, trying to off the low again. So if price was to push back into support, reject it well, that would make sense for an entry. If you're waiting for a break of, let's say, this counter trend line, which could make sense as well, could either look to buy in the breakout, maybe wait for some type of retest afterwards. I think in terms of stop loss, it could get a bit awkward. This is the area that makes the most sense, still in an area of demand to our left over here. So you kind of got that supporting the trade idea. And you're buying from a very smart location as well. And of course, you've seen a lot of evidence of price respecting this area too. So Euro USD, it is in a slight uptrend on the 15, but we are quite flat right now. So I would kind of play it. I will play the short game a little bit more. I wouldn't necessarily be looking for any big swings here. What happened there? I have no idea what happened there. Trading view just crashed out. Are we still good on the stream? It looks like it. So yeah, in terms of Euro USD, what I would suggest is playing the short-term game a little bit more. Not looking for any big swings, because we're not really seeing consistency as much anymore. Starting to form some equal lows. Yes, we're still forming those lower highs, but it's not really counting for much. We're not necessarily trending bearish well. Not really breaking through lows well. Still respecting areas of demand. So we're getting kind of a mixed bag. We're getting some lower highs, but relatively equal lows. So because of that, if we do approach support again, I would suggest, as long as we see some healthy rejection, This would be a smart place for a buy and perhaps another swing to the upside. Like I said, I do think price is likely to break higher, but I would just be watchful of that trade really. Maybe price approaches the trend line again, maybe we do push back down again, so you want to be prepared for that. But in terms of an entry, at least for a buy, anywhere around 1.162 makes the most sense to me, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, I would refrain from looking for any big swing trade, at least on an intraday level for now. If price does break to the upside, well, sure, maybe pullbacks along the way, targets back at the high, or let's say if we do crash to the downside and break through this area, well, that looks pretty bearish to me, and I would suggest some pullbacks and a lot more downside on the way as well. So depending which we break out, there could be some nice trades in either direction. But as of now, I would say we're kind of ranging now. So you just kind of want to place your trades right at the lows, or kind of maybe even at the trend line if you're looking to short, but I'd rather focus on the buys for now. So yeah, not seeing the best of opportunities right now for Euro, but that's the best of what I can see. Okay, so we'll go through pound USD on the 15 next, and then we'll take a look at pound Swiss and Aussie dollar as well. I'm up like 170, nice. I've been trading the stop. Yeah, good on you. Yeah, I think that's the best way to manage it. I'll take a look at Aussie in a second, but we are approaching some support at the moment, which yeah, could get a little bit interesting, especially if dollar does weaken. So I'll be a bit careful of that. Michelle, good morning. Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Alex, good morning as well. Hope you're doing good. Welcome to the stream. Hasnain, hope I'm saying that correctly. Yep, Aussie dollar. We will take a look. I've just got a couple of pairs to go through. Then we'll take a look at Aussie dollar. Bashi, look at your DMs. Okay, let's have a look. See. Hey, there's Bashi. Okay. Yep, Alex will take a look at NAS as well. And we can go through the other indices as well, because I've only taken a look at US 30. I need to reply to send images. That's new. Okay, there it is. Oh, nice trade, Bashi. Caught the breakout beautifully. What's the risk reward on that position? Risk reward looks huge. Okay, where was I? Okay, it's pound USD 15. Then we'll take a look at pound CHF and Aussie dollar. Oh, getting carried away there. Pound USD. So, yeah, pound USD, this one as well, kind of the same vibes as Euro in terms of very correct to move down. I do think price is getting ready for a move to the upside. We've got a bit of a counter trend line in play there. Testing a nice area of demand as well. Because we've been so tiresome on the way down, I do think price is kind of get ready to poke higher. As for the 50-minute chart, I'm seeing the same vibe. Of course, we have been pretty bearish in terms of the lower highs. So yeah, price has been pretty consistent with that. I mean, we could still put another push to the downside. That definitely could happen before we do turn around. But it's such a corrective move, testing a big area of demand, especially with such force in this up move and really slow bearish momentum on the way down. This is a strong characteristic of a likely pullback for price to attack higher prices. So yeah, I do think eventually pound USD is going to push higher. Again, doesn't mean we can't see another move down. We are approaching this kind of channel, approaching this trend line with these lower highs in. If we see adequate rejection here, we could still see another push down. I just think the bigger move for pound USD is going to be to the upside. So it depends how you want to tackle that. In terms of buys, it can be a bit difficult, to be honest, to find a good entry for this. I think the safest option would be waiting for price to actually start to shift trend completely, then looking for pullbacks along the way, maybe a break and retest somewhere, maybe a break and retest one of these highs. I think that would make sense. So I'll speak more about that when the price action actually does take shape. But for now, I can understand looking for some selling opportunities, retesting the trend line, provided we see good rejection here, maybe some wicks, strong bearish engulfing candle. Yes, I think this is a smart area for a sell, especially if you're just looking for a push back into the low, nothing too crazy. So yes, pound USD, bearish bias intraday, maybe for the US session, we might see a push down, but I do think the bigger move is likely to the upside. So it depends what you're in for. Are you looking for a quick scalp or a quick intraday trade? You're looking for more of a swing position, which you want to hold for maybe a couple days. I think that's where the buys will be at for pound. So yeah, depending what you're after, there's opportunities there for pound, but this is what I'm looking for on the 4-hour chart. 15, sure, we might see one more push down before we do continue. We don't have to continue to the upside right now. It could even start next week potentially. But I'm kind of looking at this counter trend line. If that breaks, I think we're on our way up. As for pound CHF, Poppy, you said you entered a... did you say you entered a long position? Yeah, you bought pound CHF at the start of the current 1-hour candle, but you entered short yesterday. So okay, so you took advantage of the shorts here, and then you're buying back up at the moment. Is what I'm getting from that. Looks like price had a nice retest of this structure as well. Prior resistance turned support 1.08. Really nice wicks into that level. Looks like momentum is picking up. So pound CHF is an interesting one because CHF has been really strong this week. We've seen a lot of downside for quite a lot of CHF pairs. Pound CHF not as crazy on the way down, primarily because pound has been a bit strong itself. But we did have a big drop yesterday and simply come back to test some structure. So yeah, we're having a nice reaction now. I would be cautious on the way up. We haven't really kind of lit up the market with bullish momentum here. We are quite slow on the way up, which doesn't necessarily mean we are going to push down. It just means I would be quite cautious as we do get to this area, that we don't start to form some wicks and perhaps start to look quite bearish. And that would probably mean that we do push down. So I would be careful of that. But a really nice sell yesterday, really aggressive move down, kind of broke out of this consolidation, had a bit of a retest of that, and we dropped pretty aggressively. Now we're testing this area, some more buying pressures kicked in, but this is probably an area which you probably want to keep an eye on. If I was buying here, that probably would be my first target for the trade. Even if I was looking to target the high here, that would be an area which I will be a bit cautious with. Again, I wouldn't probably exit the trade in the first sign of a rejection because I'm not expecting price to just make a smooth run to the upside. If I do see a slight rejection here, I'll be out of the trade. It was a situation that, okay, if price really starts to struggle here, I will call it quits, look for re-entry maybe, and go from there. But of course, if price can maybe pick up some momentum, break through, we're looking good, we'll try to hold to the highs or wherever your target is. But yeah, pound CHF looking good, respecting a really nice area in the 4-hour chart. But I'll be careful as we get to maybe around 1.087. That's where I'll be a little bit watchful. Okay, so Aussie dollar will take a look next. So Pavinator, you said you're still looking for a push to 0.62, which would be all the way down here. So you're still looking for a very, very big move, I must say. And of course, you did say as well. Yeah, it's a pretty big move. And of course, management is going to be required. Now, price, again, could get there. We can't see into the future. I'm sure you got your reasons of why you expected that move as well. I mean, I had targets around 0.635. That's really where I'm looking for Aussie dollar to get to at least. Again, we could go further as well. But we are testing support now. This could be an area which price decides to find support and goes against you. Again, with trading stops, trading stops are not necessarily there to, keep you in the trade through the thick and thin. You'll be trading stop losses, which means that the area or the room price has to fluctuate will be limited. And of course, if it does take you out of the trade, you're out of the trade, you take your profits and go. So if you're looking to try and really maximize the probability of price getting to 0.62, you wouldn't trail stops. You're trading stops there to keep your profit safe and kind of just hopefully take advantage of momentum as it does continue in your favor. So if price does reject support well here, it starts to push up, and if it does hit your trading stop loss, you can always look to re-enter. It's not the be all or end all. If you don't get the successful trade from here, perhaps price does continue to trend and you get a really nice trade, let's just say here randomly, and maybe you do take advantage of a push at 0.62. So if you do get trailed out too early, don't be disheartened. Maybe your analysis is still going to play through. Just keep an eye for the re-entries. But at the moment, we are testing support. A key characteristic I noted earlier is how kind of fatigued we are looking at support here. Really, really slow, really corrective. It looks like we are starting to find support. And if we do see some strength kick in, I can see a world where Aussie dollar does push higher. Of course, how much higher? That's the question. But it's a pretty significant support level. Really fatigued, struggling to break through. There is definitely upside on the table here for Aussie dollar. So be careful at this level. It could be a smart place to even lock in gains if you want to. But yeah, that's probably the first major obstacle in your way for a push to 0.62. So I would be careful of that. And if you are looking for buys, I think that's a smart place to buy as well. Probably provided we do see a nice breakout of that channel. I think that is a nice place for a buy. And again, the XY is going to play its role in that as well. So I would keep one eye on that. Alex, NAS 100, we'll take a look at that one next. $12.7. That is impressive. Average RR is about 15. I suppose that's the benefit of the lower time frames. Crazy risk reward, and of course you don't have to wait too long for it to play out either. Hit a 34 risk reward before in 2 hours. Wow, but it was not nice because my stop loss was 1 pip. Oh my. That is some aggressive stop loss placement. 1 pip stop loss. Was that on the 1 minute chart as well? Or was that like a second time frame? What's up, Lenny? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Okay, cool. What about gold? Okay, we can take a look at gold as well. Not my favorite pair at the moment, as probably a lot of people probably sick and tired of me speaking about gold, but we can do a quick run through that. There's not much to say there. But sure thing, we'll go through NAS, then we'll take a look at gold next. If I have missed out a pair from earlier, just drop it in the chat and we shall discuss. Lebsy, no problem. As a swing trader, where would you advise one to play stops? Apart from recent swing highs and lows, struggling lately with getting stopped out at midnight by the market gapping. In terms of stop loss placement, primarily my stop loss is above highs and lows 99% of the time, because there's really no other effective place to put it. I will trail stop losses as price goes in my favor, or potentially get out of trades quickly if I'm not seeing the trade play out in the manner I want it to play out. So if I'm taking like a momentum-based trade and momentum starts to die down, I will get out a bit early, so I'm not waiting for price to hit my stop loss. But my stop loss placement is 99% of the time below structure, because it's the most effective place to put it. If price is going to break structure, I want to be out of the trade. So in terms of stop loss placement, highs and lows are the best way. In terms of the market gapping, what I would recommend is to take your stop loss off. So delete your stop loss before the daily candle does close. So in my time, the candle closes at 10 p.m. So like 9:30, take the stop loss position off. And then after spread hours, so like 11 p.m., of course my time still, then you can add the stop loss back again, because if the market is going to gap, or let's say spreads do widen, let it gap, and then sometimes it will settle by like 11 p.m. So potentially price might gap like this. Let's say if you're in a trade here, it gaps down there, then potentially by 11 it's already pushed back up to maybe your entry or where it was before the gap. So once that's happened, you can add your stop loss back in again without kind of taking unnecessary big loss on the position because of spreads or because of the market gapping. And of course, give yourself a little bit of room. You don't have to have it so tight as well. Having a tight stop loss, yes, it does, of course, maximize your risk to reward, but it depends what your priority is. If you're trying to focus a bit more on win rate, having a slightly wider stop loss will help with that. If you're trying to focus on risk to reward, of course, you're going to have a tight stop loss, but be prepared to get stopped out on a few more occasions. But yeah, to try and help with the gapping, remove the stop loss. Of course, there will be times where price does gap down against you and it doesn't recover. Most of the time it does, but sometimes it won't, and you might end up taking a slightly bigger loss, but you would have done that anyway, even with the stop loss, because you failed at the next available price. So your stop loss is here, and it does get gapped here. Yeah, that's where you would take the loss, not at your stop loss. So that will happen anyway. But in terms of spreads and gapping, remove it before the candle does close on the day, and then add it back in afterwards. And of course, provided there's no like major news event in that time for the currency pair you're trading as well. So keep an eye on that. No problem. Happy to help. Okay, so we'll go through NAS and then what was the other pair again? Gold. Okay, NAS and gold. Lighton, what's up? Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Hope you're doing good. Okay, M1 and 30-second. Yeah, that's some hardcore stuff, man. Hardcore stuff. 1 minute time frame, 30-second time frame. Don't know how you do it. 30 seconds sounds bonkers to me. Okay, well, US 100. So yeah, NAS was really bearish, really bearish. I was actually looking for just another continuation this week, retest nice area of demand, really corrected price action. I said if you can see a nice break of that counter trend line, that looks like a really nice entry signal to me. A strong break above this, and we probably will be on our way back to highs, but nope. We had some news on Tuesday there, and we were looking very bearish after that. Of course, we didn't see the entry signal come into play, so waiting for the break of the counter trend line would have actually been a very useful component there of our analysis. Waiting for that break to really confirm momentum is with the buyers. Of course, we didn't get that. Very flat price action, and of course the news kicked in. Most importantly, breaking through this area as well. So very interesting move there for NAS. Of course, we are still kind of bullish as a whole, but it looks like we're kind of entering a more corrective phase where we could see bigger pullbacks potentially. Maybe something like this, which could lead up into even a bigger sell-off, which I'm expecting for NAS, S&P at some point in time. Maybe something that mirrors more something like that. Maybe not as big as this, but maybe something like that probably coming pretty soon. When price does create all-time highs, we sometimes chug away for a little bit and get that bigger sell. So that's something we can speak on later. But in terms, it depends what you're looking at for NAS. If you're looking at kind of like a swing trade, well, we're coming to an areas where we did put a higher low in. Perhaps we're getting ready for another buy. This kind of whole area can act like an area of demand, and anywhere in here we could be getting ready to turn around to see a buy. If you're looking at kind of intraday, like lower time frames, I think you probably sneak away with another short opportunity. Really strong push down. This area is going to act like a nice area of supply. Probably wouldn't be taking any sells at the moment because we are pushing back into support here. But let's say if we can run back to highs again, maybe reject the high as well, maybe take them out slightly. I think that could be a nice short for a push back into lows quickly. And if things go very well, there's a world where we do break lower and continue. If you're looking for some buying opportunities, and as I said, we are coming to a nice area of demand roughly. If I can see better on the daily chart, actually, you kind of see that we had this pause here. and then we shot to the upside. We've already seen some wicks there on the previous daily candle close, so perhaps we do find support here and we start to get ready for some buys. But I would wait for a lot of development before looking for any buying opportunities. Starting to see some wicks, which is nice, but I would like us to kind of maybe consolidate a little bit more, maybe even break to the upside with some strength, and then talk about some pullbacks afterwards. And that itself could be a nice trade to take, or even on the breakout. And then we can start talking about push, back to some of these areas and maybe back to the high as well. So if you're looking for a swing trade, looking for a big buy, I would say we're coming to some nice areas, already starting to see some rejection as well. We are still bullish as a whole. Price hasn't taken out any significant structure. This is still our previous low, which gave us this high. So this is still our bullish leg. As a result, as long as we don't break through this low, I would still be looking for buying opportunities in general and waiting for price to kick in bullish again. But I need to see that strength come in, maybe price start to break through some structure on the lower time frames, and then we can look for the pullbacks afterwards. And as I said, some buys back to this high, and then perhaps that high there as well. And if you are looking at intraday shorts, I do think you can get away with some of those opportunities. Nothing major though. We've had already a big drop already. So if you're taking shorts, it's more so you're looking for short-term reactions really, rather than like a big swing. So yeah, NAS looking for a swing to the upside, but kind of waiting for us to develop first a little bit. And then perhaps maybe sometime next week, there could be some nice buying opportunities later. So yeah, hopefully that made sense for NAS 100 there. Then we'll take a look at gold. Yeah. New Zealand CAD to the downside. I missed that message. We can take a look at New Zealand CAD as well, coffee spinner. Follow the trend. What's up? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. BTC buys at 110k. How are we looking for long-term buys? Okay, I haven't actually kept up to date with BTC. I shall take a look. Lighten, pound CAD as well, and USD. No problemo. We'll add that to the list. I don't know why is it for most traders. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the 30-second time frame, I didn't even know was a thing, especially for like the retail space until like maybe like two years ago, which was a bit of a shock to me. But yeah, I wouldn't advise it unless you kind of really kind of clued up with what you're doing. Maybe if you've got like a lot of experience with the 1 minute chart, because of course a 1 minute chart is just two 30-second candles put together, isn't it? So it's not such a huge difference from a 30-second candle with a 1 minute chart. So if you've got a lot of experience with the 1 minute, you can probably get away with the 30-second chart as well. Just like if you've got a lot of experience with like a 15-minute chart, you can get away with a 5-minute chart. It's not such a big difference. But I wouldn't go from like the time frames I'm trading on to a 30-second. That is steep. No problem, Lebsy. Happy to help. Yes, I have looked at US 30 Lenny, but I can graze through it again quickly. Got a few pairs to get through first though, but I can take a look at it again shortly. Yeah, New Zealand CAD was pretty bearish. Of course, the NZD news is the NZD news we had early this week kind of set the tone really. Really aggressive move, strong close on the day as well, which is what I like to see. I was speaking quite a bit about New Zealand CAD yesterday. I said if we can maintain this momentum and close strongly on the daily chart, I do think price is likely to continue. Basically, looking at the breakout of this range, which has continued on for quite some time, looks like we're finally picking a direction to the downside. As a result, I'm looking for a push to this low and then this low. Those are my next two targets now for New Zealand CAD. We've kind of been putting in some lower highs. We've got highs there, highs here. Perhaps we put another high in to continue lower. Maybe retest some structure around there, or even a retest of this level here as well. But in terms of direction, shorts are looking really good. And if I look at the weekly chart quickly, I like what we're seeing as well. A load of wicks to the upside. So it looks like price has tried to rally, but it's failed quite miserably. And now we're just seeing conviction to the downside. And the support level, which has held us through thick and thin for some time, is now finally cracking to the downside. Now, it is only Thursday. It's not even the end of Thursday, so we still got a day and a bit left before this candle does well and truly close. But if we can close similar to how we're looking right now, that kind of confirms to us that on a weekly time frame, momentum has really picked up for the bears, and the likeliness of us seeing more downside for the next week or two is quite likely, even if we do push up first. So yeah, New Zealand CAD looking at push to these two levels now. I would say I'm quite bearish on this pair, and I would say there's two areas which I like the idea of shorting from. So of course you got a very strong level of support here, which now will be turned resistance. That's immediately an area of interest. And of course this area of supply, which is where we had the real momentum and the real move from. So I would suggest either we can pull back into this area for a continuation, or just a simple break and retest opportunity at that level. I'll keep an eye how we do pull back, because this is a pretty big bearish move. So how we pull back is going to play a big role, whether I look for this level or that level. In terms of direction, basically I am well and truly bearish and just looking for a healthy pullback of this move now. So yeah, more downside for New Zealand CAD. It's a pair that will probably find itself on the watch list going to next week for myself, now that we've kind of got that daily close to really back things up. So yeah, I quite like what I'm seeing with New Zealand CAD, I cannot lie. In terms of gold, not much to say with this guy apart from just sideways price action. Price is just fluctuating like no tomorrow. You got equal highs up there, equal lows there. Bit of a bearish channel forming. Not much to do with that, to be honest. Again, unless you're on the lower time frames, you might find some smaller intraday opportunities to take advantage of there. But in terms of like a swing trade, I'm not really trading at any area of confluence or any area of significance. So again, just really staying away from gold. As I keep saying, the highs here, the lows here is really where it's at. Just keeping things really simple, no need to force anything. And at the moment, price is just in the middle of both of those two levels. So until we get there, I'm not looking into the price action too much. Like I said, lower time frames, sure, there might be stuff there. But from a swing bias, not seeing much. Okay, so quickly go through a quick glance of US30, then we'll take a look at pound CAD and USD as well, and BTC as well for follow the trend. What's up, Zondiwe? Hope I'm saying that correctly. Greetings, welcome to the stream, hope you're well. Of course, that's the only explanation. It could be Bashi. I'm scared of 30 seconds. Sometimes 30 seconds give me clarity if M1 is chopping. Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's the logic, isn't it? You know, if the high time frame is looking choppy, go to the low time frame. It's the same logic for pretty much any time frame, really. If the daily's choppy, go to the 4 hour. If the 4 hour's choppy, go to the hourly. So on and so forth. You go a little bit deep into the price action, hoping for clarity. Of course, sometimes it doesn't help, but sometimes it does. So yeah, the logic makes sense. You know, if the time frame you're on is choppy, scaling a little bit lower, or sometimes even scaling higher, can sometimes help with that. So I get the logic. It's just the time frame is just really hardcore. Gold is playing hard to get. It's playing a lot of games, and I don't want to play along with it, so I'll let gold keep golding for now. But I'm not a fan. Okay, let's go through BTC. So Bitcoin, it looks like we're approaching this low here, which is what, 112k. So follow the trend you mentioned, buys at 110. How are we looking for buys long term? So yeah, about that, looking a bit more awkward now. I've liked the long term buys because the price action has been fairly kind of repeating in terms of impulse flag pattern. We've seen a bunch of them recently. If I just highlight a few of them, even this kind of down move was really corrective and kind of mimicked a flag pattern as well. This was a really nice bit of a flat one, but same kind of characteristic. Probably even argue here slightly, but that looks a little bit more awkward. But pretty much since here, we've been rally, flag, rally, flag, rally, flag, rally, flag, rally. Now we've changed it up a little bit. Now we put a pretty aggressive double top pattern there, and this is not the characteristic of a flag pattern. So things have changed up a bit. So long-term buys, I think, is still very much a thing. I still do expect higher prices for BTC, but what I'm expecting now is sort of a new phase. I mean, we could even break support here, which could get really ugly, to be honest. Or this could turn into like a big consolidation potentially. So that could happen, and then maybe do continue later on. Again, a lot can happen in that time. But the key takeaway here is that things have changed a little bit. We're no longer getting just that kind of corrective flag continuation, another corrective flag continuation. Something else has happened, a really strong rejection at the high. So in terms of buying opportunities, I do think this is a nice area for a buy. Nice area of demand, lovely consolidation, really strong break to the upside. Prices of course yet to come back and retest it. We've got some price support above us there, so sweeping those lows, taking some liquidity can really help the buying opportunity out. So I think this is still a great place for a buy. It's just that I wouldn't bank on like a big swing trade. Maybe at best we get back to highs here, but I would guess that we probably do go and find some trouble again, and probably end up coming back down. We could break out as well, of course. I can't see into the future, but just because of the double top, I would have alarm bells as we approach resistance again. So I think this is a smart place for a buy. I do think you can probably find a nice swing trade here for a few days, really. This is the daily chart we're analyzing right now, so I do think this is still an area which you can probably find a nice swing trade. It's just I wouldn't bet necessarily on all-time highs coming back so quickly after the rejection we've just seen, and especially if you do go break to the downside. Technically it's a break of structure as well, which is not a good sign for the buyers too longer term. So yeah, BTC, I do like 110. I think that's a nice place for a buy in and around that area. Even the low we're trading at now, I think could be a nice place for a buy too. Not really seeing crazy price action, but perhaps we consolidate for a while, and that could actually lead up into a nice entry for a buy, and we could even see a swing back to some of these highs on the left here. So I think that could be a smart place for a buy as well. Again, same kind of logic applies. I wouldn't look for such a big move anymore or necessarily bank on all-time highs. I'll be a bit cautious with the buys now. But yeah, both of those areas I think make sense for a buy, even for a swing position for a few days. But yeah, cautious at highs is all I can say. Okay, I'm an idiot. That explains it, Bashir. That explains it. Okay, so we'll go through pound CAD and use these are for Lighten. And then we'll take a glance on US 30 as well. No problem, Yusuf. Yeah, no problem. You have permission to leave and come back. Thoughts on UJ and gold. Okay. Okay, so pound CAD. So pound CAD, very, very flat, to be honest. Very, very flat. Of course, the bigger picture, pretty nice uptrend. Pretty consistent as well. But we are starting to hit a bit of a phase where we're running out of steam a little bit, finding equal highs and starting to struggle. So I will be quite cautious right now with pound CAD, especially with the buys. If anything, this is a nice place for a short, and we can see some downside again, because effectively we have been ranging. So price is going to respect the high again. There's a pretty good chance we do see something like this happen again. Of course, if we get the breakout, we'll speak about that and perhaps the trend continuing, but we'll wait to see that happen before we do go into detail about that. For now, all I can see is price starting to struggle, starting to get some rejection at the highs here now. And I probably would wait as we develop here. It kind of looks similar to pound yen in terms of we're hitting a big level, kind of a bit of a mixed bag really. Yes, seeing some rejection, but not really setting the market alight in terms of a really strong reversal sign. We might kind of move back and forth a little bit. until we start to see some conviction either to the upside or to the downside. I just did that backwards, didn't I? Either downside or to the upside. There we go. So I would be quite neutral at the moment, at least intraday. We're testing a big level, which could send us back down again, so I'll be watchful of that. If we can start to see some conviction lower, maybe break through support, perhaps there could be some nice opportunities even on the breakout or some intraday pullbacks. And likewise, if you do break to the upside, there could be some nice opportunities to follow that trend and follow that momentum. And we could go a lot higher after that as well, because effectively this is just a big range. So whether we break to the upside or respect the high and come back down, there's a big move probably in either direction. But for now, I wouldn't necessarily, I'm favoring one or the other, especially how flat we're looking. So I'd wait for some more information to develop first before really picking a direction for pound CAD. As for USDZAR, last time we looked at this one, we're testing major support. And we've seen some upside, but it still looks really corrective in my opinion. Again, I'm still pretty much bearish longer term in terms of looking for a push back to this low. That's still very much my game plan. I'm looking at the higher time frames, particularly the weekly chart. We had a really strong push down, respecting support there, which looks like a break and retest to me. We tried to make new all-time highs, which we technically did just by the smallest amount. We kind of just wicked above it. I mean, you could probably just refer to that as equal highs, to be honest. But it was a really strong rejection anyway, and we've been looking pretty bearish since then. So I've been looking for price to get to these lows, but at the moment, we are respecting support very, very well. Once, twice, and a third time. The last time has been quite corrective, so that's where I'm kind of struggling in terms of finding opportunities for a buy. I think ideally I want price to push back into support again and reject it well, because I wouldn't want to be entering buys now, especially as we approach some areas of supply and because of how corrective we are being on the way up. I wouldn't be surprised if we do push down again. Of course, in terms of the shorts, if we do get a strong break of the low, the short opportunities are very much on, and we're looking for a continuation back into the support level I mentioned on the weekly chart, around 17. But if this support can break, yeah, the sellers are taking control, and we're likely to see some more downside. But as of right now, you know, kind of that is the best opportunity I can see. So yeah, I'll wait for a push down and then hopefully take some buys again. And then we'll go from there. But it is proving to be a very steady level of support. So that's kind of where my attention will be for now. And in terms of US 30, so as I mentioned with this one, I was looking more on the 30-minute time frame, wasn't I? Yeah, for some lower time frame buys. Actually, let's see how we are rejecting. Are we rejecting? Okay, there's a nice candle there, nice wick to the downside. So yeah, I'd wait to see if we can get a strong close. Something like that. Nice bullish engulfing candle to kind of mimic momentum coming into play. We've seen a nice rejection at the low of this wick. Of course, as we establish on the hourly chart, this is a nice area of demand here, which of course kick-started this bullish move. Now we're testing that same area again. We've already got a lot of evidence of rejection in this area, so buys naturally make sense off that level. So if you are looking for like a quick intraday position, I do like the idea of testing the low here and seeing a bounce. Lovely wick close in the last 50-minute candle. If you can see some strength with the next one or maybe the one after, I think that would be a smart place for a buy, simply for a push back into supply resistance above us. I wouldn't look for anything more than that. But that's kind of my take on it on an intraday time frame. As for the 4-hour chart, well, as we mentioned on the daily chart, we are respecting major resistance here. So I wouldn't be looking for any kind of swing buys at the moment. If I'm looking for a longer term buy, it's because prices broke through resistance here, which we have not done yet, of course. So in terms of buying opportunities, I would wait for price to pull away from that area. I did mention this area, I think it was earlier this week, or if not, towards the end of last week, that this could be a nice area for a buy. Of course, very strong impulse, consolidation, another strong impulse. This could be a nice place for a retest and a bounce. Again, I wouldn't necessarily bank on this happening and a huge continuation. What I would bank on is at least the reaction. Maybe we push to highs and maybe we come back down again, but at least something like this could be worthwhile for a trade. May continue, may come back down against us. If you manage the trade actively, you'd be prepared for that. But I think this is still a nice place for a buy. Really kind of prolonged consolidation, sharp breakout, a lot of momentum on the breakout. So it's a strong area of demand. And should price get there as well, nice and correctively too, I think that should be a nice place for a buy, at least for a swing back to resistance, and then we'll go from there. So I quite like the buys temporarily on US 30. Again, we are respecting major resistance, so perhaps there is a big move down. So I would be cautious of that. But I'm not in love with the price action in terms of how we're rejecting that level. It's a lot of wicks, but price is really slow at the moment. So I'd rather just kind of focus on the buys, trying to catch a bounce off this area, then go from there. But I wouldn't have my hopes completely high with looking to catch a big winner. My expectation for the trade would be catch a bounce and let's see what happens. Maybe reject, come back down. Maybe it does fly. I'll keep an open mind. Okay, so where was we? Pound CAD USD US 30. UJ and gold, Yusuf. Yeah, we can take a look. I'm expecting, or assuming you're talking about the 15-minute chart for both of those as well. I appreciate it, Bashi. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out, and I do really appreciate each and every one of you for tuning into the stream. Chatting with myself, dropping a like, subscribing, all of that does really help the content and helps the channel grow, so I do really appreciate that. Of course, if you do have any questions, drop it in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer them. And yeah, if you want to hit the bell, make sure you go and do so. It'll keep you up to date with any streams or uploads that I do in the future, and of course, share it with your friends as well. No problem, Lighton. Happy to help. Lenny, you're looking for sells on US 30. Okay. Yeah, I mean, of course, I understand the reason behind it. I mean, in terms of the location, excuse me, it makes complete sense. It's just the price action is what I'm struggling with. What time frame are you looking to sell on? Of course, a very significant level of resistance. But in terms of the sell, we're very flat. Initially, nice rejection, but now we're really flat. So that's kind of what's put me off the sell. Really corrected on the way down. Not that we can't push down, we definitely can. But yeah, I like the way we rejected here. You know, sharp move up, slight pullback, and then we're on our way. You know, that's a sign of rejection. That's, you know, forceful, enthusiastic. That's something I want to follow. Something where we kind of consolidate is not a bad idea. But if I'm going to enter that, I kind of want us to break out of that with some force. And then maybe, yeah, some intraday shorts could look good there. But if we kind of correctively keep falling like this, then that just looks like a pullback to me. And then the buys make the most sense. But if you can see some force, yeah, I think that short can make sense as well, especially from where we're coming from. But if it stays corrective, I think the buys looks like the best bet. Okay, 15. We will take a look, Yusuf. Okay, hourly chart. Yeah, so I think it depends on momentum picking up. If we could see some force on a move down, some strength on the move down, sure. If not, yeah, I'm not too sure. If it is going to stay like corrective like it is right now, maybe some very short-term opportunities there could make sense. But I really want to see us kind of drop like that if I want to take any sells, and then of course take the pullback after. So yeah, that's kind of my 2 pence on the Dow Jones. We'll take a look at UJ and gold on the 15 for Yusuf. I appreciate it. Live stream is really helping me of late. Loving it. Great to hear. Lenny, that is music to my ears. Appreciate it. If you guys are enjoying the stream, as I said before, drop a like, does really help out. But I'm glad to see the stream is helping people out and finding the streams beneficial. Okay, let's go through USD JPY and oh, look at that, some strength coming in. Is this yen being weak or is this dollar being strong? I think it's yen being weak. Dollars pull back a little bit, but not enough to really get us excited. Let me look at the yen basket quickly. Yeah, that probably explains it. Looking really weak at the moment. And of course, pound yen was looking pretty bullish. Euro yen, seeing some strength. CAD JPY, what we saying? Yeah, it looks like the yen's weak, and we're seeing that across the board. So it's probably more to do with yen rather than USD. But we're in the same place we were last time we spoke, really. This is your consolidation. So of course you had the exceptional drop from NFP, and since then we've been incredibly flat. So it's 50-50 at this stage. That's the thing I love about consolidation. It's kind of 50-50 which way you break out. There's really two scenarios you're taking advantage of consolidation. You're waiting for the breakouts, or you're trying to call the tops and bottoms. You're trying to short the highs, buy the lows, or you're waiting for breakout opportunities, whether you're trying to buy or sell the breakout, or wait for a break and retest to follow, or however you want to trade it. But you're either looking for price to expand or stay within the range. And as of late, of course, we've just been within the range. But if we do see a convincing break to the upside, I think that's what's really going to kickstart perhaps the continuation of this very slight uptrend. As we can see here, if this is going to be perhaps another higher low in the market, and this is kind of like a weird pullback, then I would want to see a strong break to the upside. And then that would mean, okay, we're looking to continue back to highs here, maybe even some higher as well. So in terms of buying USD/JPY, I would wait for convincing momentum above. I quite like this area of demand here as well. It lines up pretty well with the low of the channel here too. So I think in terms of a swing trade, it makes a lot of sense trying to look for some buys in this area. But for now, I'm not too sure if we get there. If you do break to the upside, that's kind of what I'd wait for. In terms of the 15-minute chart, let me draw the lines back in again. In terms of the 15-minute chart, yeah, we just got a lot of noise here, don't we? So as we push back into resistance here, that's where I'll be looking to try and take some shorts. And nothing major, just kind of short-term play. No problem, Remy. Appreciate it. Thank you for the message. So yeah, no kind of crazy move here. Of course, it could happen, but I would be kind of playing the conservative approach, the approach that, okay, I'll try and catch a reaction. Maybe it turns into a big trade, but my expectation is just, okay, we're approaching resistance. We might reject it well. If we do, I can find an entry to get short. Stops above the high. Maybe a nice push down. Maybe here if I'm lucky. Maybe a big drop if I'm really lucky. But if price does find support against me and starts to push up, I'll close the trade, take the small profit and run. That's kind of how I'll take advantage of dollar yen in terms of playing the range on the 15. Because I wouldn't look for any kind of trend continuations, or because there is no trend. The market's really flat here, so there's no kind of trend play at all. I know there's a bit of momentum right now. We kind of broke out this descending structure and we're picking up here. I can see that, but we're within a range here, so I wouldn't read too much into that until we start to see progress outside of the range, breakouts, continuations. Sure, at that point pullbacks make sense, but not in here. Here's just where you want to focus at the highs, focus at the lows, and do your business there. So yeah, dollar yen in terms of the interest, let's see what we do around 148. And if you reject it, well, it could be some nice shorts potentially later today. Okay, let's go through gold on the 15 as well. So gold on the 15, pretty corrective. Oh, look at that. Seeing some nice bearish momentum there. So yeah, gold being in this channel. So that's a really rough drawing of the channel, to be honest, because if I draw it with this trend line, we actually had a bit of a breakout there. But yeah, for gold, I'll be keeping an eye on some buys now as we approach support here. And then we do have this slight channel, but because I'm not convinced by direction at all, my thought process when we are in these choppy conditions is simply buying off support, selling off resistance, not really trying to follow momentum, because that's not really the play. Momentum isn't typically continued here. It's more kind of reversed, and we see big moves, they top out, they come right back down. In trending conditions, that's not the case, but in these conditions, that is the case. So as we do approach support again, see some wicks there as well. You know, this can kind of be viewed as a bit of a fake out there. You know, price can push into here, reject well. I think that's an area which we do buy from and do see a nice move up. We might not necessarily get back to highs here. We might not see a complete continuation. Might be a push up, and then we might come back down. Might test this area and then push down. But of course, you can be a judge to that. Let's see how we get there, how we operate. You can close the trade early, trail stops, however you want to manage it. Maybe price is going to push here, but this is a significant enough level for me to consider a buy from. And I like the way we kind of really catapulted to the upside, really aggressive price action, somewhat forming maybe an inverse head and shoulder pattern, left head, possible right shoulder. So I quite like what I'm seeing there from gold in that perspective, but provided we see some really healthy rejection here, because we've had a really aggressive drop there on the last 50-minute candle. Let's see if we can slow down, start to form some wicks and really start to consolidate, and maybe see a nice entry off the back of that. And as I said, for targets, you know, back here, back there, and so forth. But yeah, that's how I'll take gold, to be fair. No major move, no major swing. Lenny, okay, yeah, we can take a look at the DAX for you, no problem. Mohammed, I'm feeling fine. I come late, no problem. Better late than never. Good to hear you're feeling good, though. That is good to hear. Okay, let's take a look at the DAX. So yeah, the DAX looking bearish. So the plan for the DAX was coming into the week. I had buying opportunities from two levels. This is, well, that's kind of more the second level. This is more the first area. So coming to the week, I said buys look good from two areas. No problem, Yusuf, happy to help. I said this area being one, and I said this level being two. That, you know, of course, this being such a significant level of support. If we can return here, I think the buys make a lot of sense, because this kind of looked like a huge fake out. We broke back inside the range, had a nice retest, continued. You know, if price can do that again, I think that's still a smart place for a buy. So I mentioned this area here for a buy in terms of, okay, this might just be another correction and we might continue. We've tested this area a few occasions, but we haven't really got going. We saw an initial test there, nice push up, another test there, nice push up, but nothing really to give us the break of that counter trend line, nothing really to give us the big breakout. So because of that, it looks like we're probably going to get this option here. It looks like probably price is going to get the breakthrough here and continue lower back into 23,992, basically 24K, and come and test this level. So in terms of the DAX, I am still bullish with this one. I'm looking at the higher time frames. Yes, the market looks like it is starting to tire. We are starting to kind of be a bit more fatigued. We're not breaking highs as aggressively as we once did, and we're kind of spending a lot of time at resistance here. So the market is still bullish by nature, but yes, we're seeing some signs of slowing down. So again, if you do get into buys, be careful. We're not in extreme bullish conditions, and if you do get into an instance where price is starting to struggle, you can always call the trade quits. Maybe price is going to have a deeper correction, but for now, this is still a significant enough level to keep an eye on. It's rejected the price really well, and if price was to get there again, provided we see again healthy rejection, I think it's a great place for a buy. And there is the possibility we do see a push all the way back to highs there as well. So yeah, 24K I think is still a really nice place to keep an eye on. Again, I talked about this area at the start of the week. We've seen some reaction, but nothing to really get us going. And the fact that we haven't got going yet means that we probably are going to come back and test the second level here. But it's been proven to be a steady level of support, and I would expect it to act as support again. So the DAX still bullish for now. We're getting a lot of red flags at the highs that maybe the trend is starting to topple out. So yes, we could probably see a nice bounce, but again, I wouldn't necessarily bank on a crazy move. If you do see a nice push up, we start to struggle again, maybe approach resistance around here, things are looking awkward, can always look to pull the trade, bank partials, trail stops. We might not see the complete swing back to high, so be prepared for that. But if we do push back into bullish territory, the only thing we can do is look to buy from there, and then we'll go. So yeah, the DAX I'm still pretty bullish on, and as a whole, a lot of the indices I'm still pretty bullish on. Yes, we're seeing some bearish momentum now, but the key thing is this bearish momentum we've seen across the board for the indices hasn't really done anything crazy yet, hasn't really broken through any major levels of support, hasn't broken any key structure yet. So despite the momentum, until we do that, I would still retain my bullish swing bias. Of course, not intraday necessarily. The intraday is still pretty bearish for a lot of them. But in terms of the bigger swings, like for NAS, even US 30, if you finally break resistance, the S&P, the DAX, I still think these guys are long-term bullish for now. Until maybe something like this happens, then yeah, that would probably change my mind, especially if we take this low out. Then we could actually be seeing a bigger correction. Maybe something that mimics this a little bit more. And then eventually a continuation. So we'll get to that when we get to that. But for now, I think things are still looking quite bullish. So yeah, as of now, I'm only in one position. I was in Euro shorts yesterday, but I was quickly out of that. Momentum did not continue in my favor at all. We had some strength come up there, so I stayed out of the position. I potentially might re-enter if things look good again, but what I can see from Euro is that we're starting to become quite flat right now, which again is a good sign for the sellers, believe it or not. Not in terms of like selling right now, but just in terms of price respecting that area of supply. Of course, you don't want to see aggressive momentum and price crashing through. Of course, that shows that price is probably not going to reject your area. But if you are flat, it's a good sign. It means that buyers and sellers are in equilibrium. The bullish momentum we've seen recently is kind of flat now. So if you can get some conviction lower, or maybe another rejection of the high, that will be enough for me to look for an entry, provided the dollar doesn't look too flat as well. The key thing I don't like about the dollar is how corrective we were to the upside. If we can pick up some momentum, some strength, great. Or even push down into support again and show some more rejection, great. Either which way, I need some strength to come into the market for me to get back into my shorts in Euro. Same thing with silver. Silver's still testing a nice area of supply right now. In fact, momentum is actually looking really good there. Yeah, I'm actually get back into silver actually. That is looking really good. I mean, this candle still has 2 hours left before it does close, so a lot can happen in 2 hours. But should I see a strong close there, I'd actually be more than happy to find an entry, get back in, stops above the high, and the trade which I was in early in the week is back underway with actually a better risk reward. So closing early has actually helped a little bit. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still need to wait for the close. But silver's looking good again. Nice reaction at the area of supply. Starting to see some conviction. Strong entry. I'll be happy to take a short. And pound Aussie, I'm still holding this one. We did see a slight rejection off the high, but not enough for me to exit the trade. I did say I would take off most of my profit here. I've already closed about half of my trade. I'm trading as well, so I'm pretty secured in terms of the position, but I am holding in the hopes of a break to the upside. We did see a slight rejection there, but not enough for me to say, okay, we're rejecting fully, let me get out of the position. I've got to give the trade a bit of room to play. If I'm going to look for a breakout, there is going to be a bit of a reaction. I can't just expect a clean, smooth breakout. Of course, that would be ideal, but that's not the case. So if maybe price does push the highs again and rejects again, that'll probably be enough for me to close the trade. But if we can pick up some momentum, great. I'll start the trail, lock in my stop loss underneath that new, hopefully formed low. But if we do reject again, that'll probably be enough for me to call the trade and walk away and move to the next one. But I am still holding for pound Aussie, ready to take half the profit. So hopefully I can hold the rest for a push to 2.14. If not, I will just exit the rest here as well. So that's kind of where I'm at for my positions. Poppy, I'm heading to TP. Nice. I'm assuming that's your pound CHF position. Great to see. Great to see. Hopefully you can find another one before the week ends. But yeah, guys, that has brought us to the end of the stream. I hope you have found it useful and enjoyed it. If I do get into any new positions, we'll go through it again tomorrow. So silver's looking pretty likely. Still got to wait for that 4-hour candle to close, but I'll probably look for some re-entries there for silver. If you have enjoyed the stream, guys, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It does really help out. I will be live again later today on Trader Nick's channel. So if you do want to see more of me, and if I do get into the silver trade, I'll probably go through it on his stream actually, because I'll probably just hop into it just before that. So yeah, we'll discuss that in a bit more detail over there, and probably a bit more about the yen pairs. We didn't speak much on the yen pairs today, and of course just general analysis as well. But if you're not available in the next kind of 2.5 hours, because that's when I'll be live on Nick's stream, I will be live again on this channel, as always, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So I do hope to see everyone there as well. But yeah, guys, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning into the stream. Have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.
Introducing Zenthrix AI-powered trading signals service. Tired of second-guessing your trades? Zenthrix AI scans the markets 24/7 with powerful, proven indicators built to give you clarity. You get 200+ signals every day on 15-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily charts. We cover Forex, crypto, commodities, indices, and stocks, so you're covered no matter what you trade. And the best part, you get all this delivered 3 ways, every day. Web alerts give you fast, clean access right from your dashboard. Telegram delivers real-time entries, confidence levels, sentiment, and trade duration. And email gives you the full breakdown, including 2 profit target levels and deep market analysis. Just hold $5 worth of ZTR. See what you can achieve with powerful AI trading intelligence by Zenthrix. Try it now. And join our Telegram channel.